them take the achievement test during the Zoom classes, right? And then in the breakout room, a staff is observing them while they're taking it. And then I just have the parents text me the photos so that we can get it graded. As far as corrections are concerned, I have sort of maintained a system of drop off homework in a box outside once a week in a Ziploc bag. So parents just drop off the completed homework. Even if they home grade or not, we still pick that homework up, staff to grade it, put it in the system. So, that helps me lesson plan.
Okay. Are you doing anything special for the parents to know that this is a new concept or?
Yes. Anytime there's a new concept, I'll just shoot them like a separate text. I mean, my whole thing is just all gone to phone. I'm constantly texting.
Okay.
So even more than emails, because I feel like just being a parent, we are flooded with so many emails, right? From school, from virtual learning, that I think the texting is just a lot faster.
Agreed. That's very, very true. Okay. Anyone else do anything different? Thank you, Huma.
I'm finding that I'm spending more time, and a lot of it is with Zoom, but also with FaceTime and other things like that. But I'm finding I'm going back to knowing my students, to know whether or not they're the type that needs repetition. And they've been in closer contact than any other time is with all my students, at least at this point.
I'm in a meeting, Babu.
So I'm finding I'm doing it, we're moving ahead, but this really is, my time is doubled. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
I agree.
I agree. I've gone to the center a couple of times this week to switch out a few kids' work after Zoom meetings and change my lesson plan accordingly.
Okay. Anyone else wants to share for number 1 before we move on to number 2? Anyone that's not doing Zoom sessions or virtual, how are you handling these things, the new concepts, the achievement tests, the corrections?
We have during the Zoom sessions, we have the parents, we have the staff with the answers, and we have the parents grade it on the spot. And then they take a photo of the front page and send it to us.
And send it, okay. Okay. Okay, so next question. How are you able to instill work skills with the students in the lower levels? So whether you're doing virtual or if you're doing phone calls, how are you able to continue to develop that pace and all those work skills with the EL students?
Everyone's quiet. I have the EL staff handle the early learning students in my center. I only occasionally help out, but they've been doing it for a long time. And during regular classes, we interact and, develop best practices. But during Zoom classes, I handle the higher level math students, actually.
Okay, so you have your EL assistants doing the Zoom sessions with like one-on-one with your EL students, Brian?
Mostly one-on-one. We found out if there's 2 reading students or someone taking a test, they need to be separated one-on-one, but sometimes we can do 2-on-1. But we normally try to do 1-on-1.
Okay. And Arthy's not able to talk. Arthy's in this room. Arthy, are you logged in through your, you may have to log in and log out again. However, you're logged in through. And is my sound breaking up? I guess I'm hearing.
It's pretty clear now.
Okay, that's good. I'm trying to redo my internet. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Welcome.
Okay, so for number 3, how are you guys determining if a student should advance or do repetition based on the remote classes that you guys have set up? So Arthi, I think you got audio. I heard something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
I think it was my headphones. I could hear everybody, but no one could hear me. So it must have been my headphones.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about a little bit about the younger students.
Yes.
It is, we've been doing one-on-one EL sessions for 20 minutes instead of the usual 30 minutes. And that's really helpful. Right now I have 2 screens up with my staff working with the EL students. And it's really, really helpful because not only do I get to see what they're learning, but I can also train my staff in real time.
Explain that, please. How do you do the 2 screens? How do you watch them?
So right now the screens are on. I wish I could show you my screen, but I can see the staff working with the student on the screen.
I
So
can
I have
give you, let's see. I wonder if I can give you control to share your screen, Arthi.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me stop my screen.
Okay.
And can you share right now if you click on the share screen?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, that way you can get a visual.
Can you see anything?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, that's why. That's because my video was off.
I just turned mine on.
Right, let me see.
See people's faces.
So that's one session going on.
I don't
And you
see.
see, I can see the staff
Right.
and the student
Oh yeah,
working
now you
on the
can see
worksheet.
it.
And then I have the other one right. Let me angle this correctly.
I don't. Does anybody else see that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see
that's
it.
the other screen.
So you have two display
I see
monitors going.
Yes, and then on
or 3.
Thursday I have 3, so that's why I could log in today because one of my accounts is free. So you see, you can actually watch them in real time. And the best part is I'm able to train my staff hands-on. I mean, in real time. So I send them text from here. I'm chatting with them as to what they can do better. So, and parents know that there's 3 of us, you know, involved here, them, the staff, and me. And it's and people are signing up every day because they are talking to each other. And they realize that this is, in many ways, I find it's working even better than, you know, real life classroom situation.
So explain that you have 3 monitors, and are you in each of the breakout rooms as 3 people, and you're just quiet and the staff?
No, for EL, unfortunately, I cannot use 3 monitors. I mean, we don't have breakout rooms. We tried that at first, but the breakout rooms did not work.
Okay.
It created a lot of issues. So we just went ahead and signed up. We have 4 accounts now. One is my husband's, and I have 3 for myself. One for my Germantown Center, one for my Collierville Center, and the other one is the iCuman account. So I have to start them and then let the staff become the host for the meeting that they are controlling. So one staff is working on one account, the other one's working on the other account. So simultaneously, we tried the breakout room situation, did not work.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little cumbersome, as I've learned for today's meeting, to do multiple breakout rooms. Okay, thanks.
But we do that for the main classroom also. So for the main classroom, we have one account.
Okay.
We operate the whole classroom on one account, and we admit students in. We have classes on 5 days a week.
Okay.
And students are assigned based on their levels basically. We have 2 days for higher levels, G and above, and the other 4 days are for the regular classroom. And we have class from 3 to 6.
Okay.
Students
Monday
who
through
do
Friday?
subjects are assigned a time slot on the hour. And the ones doing one subject can come in half hour on the hour.
Okay.
So it's working really well. And students who need more stay on. We have the same ID for a particular day, and it's recurring the meeting. So we are not sending ID numbers to everybody all the time.
So
We
everyone
just
has
set it
the
all at
same.
once and it's working.
Okay, awesome.
So how many staff do you have in EL? So you have a different accounts, you have 4 and your husband has 3, so that's a total of 7. So
So
do
we
you
have,
have,
I could only have 3 staff do a good job with the EL, and they work 4 days each. The only challenge is that we are able to offer 1 class a week. And I find that it's really not a negative because most parents are working from home, and for EL students, they need to be sitting by their child. So they don't mind the once a week class at all.
Okay.
So
So
I think-
Aarti, I have a question for you, Aarti.
Yes?
Yes. Okay. So I think I may do something similar. So I do 30-minute once a week classes for families for the EL. And like you said, I only have about 4 staff members for EL that are good.
Mm-hmm.
So I, split them up every Wednesday and Saturday to do the 30-minute sessions. So do some of your families want twice a week?
Actually, with the exception of one parent out of my, all the subjects for EL, only
Mhm.
one parent wanted twice a week.
Okay.
Nobody
How
else
long
asked twice.
how long do you
They
do it
are
for?
happy with the one.
Yeah. The once a week class, how long is it? Is it, if they're math and reading, do you do 30 minutes math, 30 minutes reading, or just?
No, we do 20 minutes math and 20 minutes reading. And believe me, it's a long time when you're on, using every single second. The parents are very diligent about showing up 2 minutes before we start. So we had to do a lot of groundwork before we got this off the, it took us a lot of, we put in about 40 to 50 hours between me, my husband, and my daughter. We set it all up before we launched. So things are, everybody signs in on time. Our attendance rate for the main classroom is 85%. My daughter keeps track of all that. So it's, I think before you launch, if you let your expectations known to the parents, they are sticking with it.
So you are requiring your main classroom to log in once a week?
Yes.
And what if they, because I have the classes set up. I have, I've spent like 80 Zoom classes that are set up separately, right? But I feel like not a lot are signing up, like my ABC class. Not everyone is going to log in. So how do I make sure that, everyone is using it and utilizing it?
We sent out. So what we've done is, again, my husband Bala has been so instrumental in making sure this works. We have a list of all the students that are expected to show up every hour. The minute they don't show up, from day one, we've been sending them texts,
Okay.
emails, so they know that we are expecting them. And they do have so when I speak to them one-on-one, if they have a question, I tell them you're welcome to come any other time in addition to today. So, but I don't want to say that to everyone, otherwise we'll be overwhelmed if everyone shows up every day. So we have 4 or 5 students only in the whole setup who come on another day for extra help.
Okay. And then how do you get supplementals done in the 20 minutes for the reading for classwork?
I'm sorry?
With the little ones? Do you get to do any supplementals for the reading classwork for the early learners?
So before we started, we did 5 parent orientation meetings for the Zoom setup. It took, the first one was like, whoa. It needed a lot of input and feedback from us as to show them how to place their cameras and what is the, Zoom etiquette. You don't speak up in class, you raise your hand and all that. But this is, I think, our 4th week. Everything is going like clockwork. But it
Okay.
takes, the first week will seem overwhelming and a little disjointed, but it ultimately all settles down.
Got it. Yeah, I like the 20-20-minute idea. I may do that. That's a good idea. Okay. Thank you, Aarti.
Thanks, Aarti. So before we move on to the next topic, I just want to hear from the couple of you that are not doing any virtual interaction. How are you guys developing your students? So maybe if Anna or Mitzi, if you guys want to just share how you're developing your students and what you've been doing at the center.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to say how I'm developing the student because I guess fortunately or unfortunately, I did not have too many little ones, and the ones I had at 4A, they were pretty independent. So I did offer Skype, Zoom, but most of the families, they didn't think they needed it. So right now I am talking, and I do pick up. I started with 2-week drop off and then pick up, and then starting last week, I changed that to weekly. So fortunately, all the families live close by, so on the way to grocery store or pick up some food, they'll just drop it off, and our pickup date is Monday, Friday. So when I see EL parents come, I will talk to them and see, and express what I want to see or how the kids are doing and what they can do to help. Other than that, even in class, I don't really do a lot of instruction on any other levels, so they're pretty much independent. I did have one student texted me for help. I just asked him what don't you understand, what you had to tell me what you don't understand. So far that's the extent of what I have done, right or wrong, I'm not sure, but developing wise though, since I haven't had new kids enroll in April, it hasn't been a concern, but it might be if we start getting new kids.
Okay, thanks, Mitzi.
A little bit, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you.
Yeah. I'm following a little bit of what Mitzi just said. My situation is very similar to her. I'm not really promoting Zoom, although I will be helping. We do work with some of the students virtually, I'll say, in a one-to-one basis with the little ones that need assistance. And also, if the students are needing something, they're struggling with a concept or new introduction to new levels and so on. But I'm not doing like a Zoom group or anything like that. Really, I've been talking to parents. We keep communicating, and I try to really, I've been going to my center at least twice a week for a certain amount of hours so that they know they can reach me then, and keep talking to them and so on. So I haven't really seen the need. I believe most of the students that I had have been working very well independently, and I've been getting their work back, and we go over their work, and based on that, I plan for new lessons and so on. So hopefully soon we can be seeing them, but as it is right now, it's been only picking up and dropping off, but I get to see my parents even through the window. So and if it's not, I talk to them, and so I do talk a lot to them every day. So every class, but even if they need me during the week, I'll be reachable to them. So yeah, just to say.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Anna. And before we move on to the next topic, is anyone else on here doing anything differently from what you've heard in how to virtually developing students at your center? Any that we haven't heard from? Komal, Grace, Dipsy, Lakshmi.
Hello, Tina. I am helping a new instructor. She just have 12 students so far. So she's giving class to each and every student twice a week, and the students are advancing very much. I guess she's learning a lot from the materials and from instructing and observing these students so closely. So even if she just have a small amount of students, I think this has been an opportunity to learn all the challenges that students face with the worksheets.
Okay, that's awesome. And those of you that don't know, that was Gabriela. She's one of our reading specialists on the Spanish materials team. Thank you, Gabriela.
Thank you, Dean.
And I think Karen's having issues with her internet connection. Karen, if you want to log in and log back out again. And Karen's our speaker. Oh no. Karen, if you, let's go ahead and, oh, your internet's unstable. Oh no. If you're able to maybe restart and come back in again, hopefully that'll make it better. And I will put you back into the breakout room if you want to try to leave and come back again, Karen. Okay, moving on to the next topic. So next topic is center operations. So the first question, and I think some of you already answered this. How are you prepping and pulling during the modified center operations? So if anyone wants to share their system that they're using right now. Not all at once, guys. Arthi, if you want to share, I know you're doing a lot of good things.
So I don't know if everyone can hear me because I keep getting this notification that your internet connection is spotty.
Oh,
but
no.
We are basically I'm pulling for the whole month. So in the last week, that's where most of my effort is going in the lesson planning. And whenever there's a new concept, I'm writing NC and writing a note, do this during the virtual classroom. I'm dating, preparing work, and I guess I have to, in the email that I sent everyone, I said, please don't panic if you see repetitions because this is a goal. We need to master it by these 3 criteria. And so I have 2 staff. One handles the preparation in one center and the other one in the other center. So it's all planned for the month of May, and they pulled it, dated it, and we put it in bags and left it for parents to pick it up from inside the parent waiting room. So my center is open 24 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just the waiting area, and we are able to shut off the rest of the center by placing tables and writing notes. Do not enter beyond this point.
Okay.
I've done similar things. I've pulled the whole month of April because that's when the numbers are supposed to peak. And I didn't want anyone coming in and out of the center. I didn't want staff or parents or kids, nobody. So I gave a whole month, and then we are prepping work this week for Monday rotation. And I'm just doing 2 weeks at a time right now. And we're able to pull it, modify as needed. And how I set it up is the whole center is closed except for the parents' room, but only my door is propped. And there is probably about 10 feet between myself and the parent when we exchange stuff. We have like a barrier table set up. So we drop the work, I back up, the parents would pick up the work, they put their work in. So it's a lot of back and forth, but it's one person at a time can come in. So it seems to work out really good. I do have a lot of physicians at my center, and they said the setup was great the way I had it in place. And it was safe, more than anything was safe. And I did request no students were allowed to come in, 1 parent only at a time inside. And it seems to work, and the parents feel safe about it. And the kids who did not show up, I put them in manila envelopes, and they were all picked up within that week. So it's working. but it's a lot of work to do all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And minimal staff. I have teenagers, but mostly all of them are not allowed to work. They're not allowed to come in with social distancing, and just a couple of adults. And right now I'm low on staff as well too. So that part gets a little tricky. And when we open, I don't know how many of my staff members will come back. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So not sure. Because they're teenagers, so.
Right.
We'll see. One day at a time.
Yes. It's a very fluid situation, unfortunately.
Tina, are we going to get some guidance on, like, for example, Cobb County centers? Are we all going to slowly open together? How is it going to, I mean, no one's really communicating with us because, if certain things open tomorrow, how do am I supposed to reopen with a certain social distancing? Has Kumon said that is Kumon under one of the places that should open right now, or no?
No. So I'm going to have Stacy answer that question because we are not ready to open yet.
Okay, so will we hear back from you guys in terms of, okay, all centers in the Atlanta-Cobb County area should reopen with this certain social, so.
Oh, you're cutting out, Huma.
You will?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we will. I'm going to have Stacy talk a little bit more on that. I think she's in the room right now.
Okay.
Can you guys
So
hear me?
right now it's a no for sure, but you're saying you will contact us or kind of reach out to us.
Yes, yeah, and Stacy's going to share a little bit more because she's in our breakout room right now.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to touch briefly on it. I don't want to go too deep because I feel as though it's a decision that each instructor is going to have to make. The order that was sent out is not quite clear because it depends on how the government is actually classifying us.
We can't hear her.
Look at, can you hear me?
I can
You're
hear
going
you.
off and on.
Oh.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I just want to touch briefly on it. I don't want to go too in depth. Each order by state is different and it does not clearly specify. Currently, the order is not, again, clear. And with that being said, we have to look at not just what the government is putting out, but what the CDC is recommending. And if we look at all those measures that they're talking about, you have to look and assess your center situation to say, am I technically ready to actually open? Do I have all of these things in place? Do I have sanitation measures in place that parents can feel comfortable and that I can make sure that I'm keeping the students safe? So I would say, analyze your center situation right now to determine and begin to think about the things that you have to put in place, whether it be the social distancing, the Lysol wipes, the hand sanitizers, the masks. So as I mentioned earlier, and Tina also mentioned, the guidebook is being put out, and that's something that we're going to schedule a meeting and discuss with all instructors on the same type of platform to really identify what are the things we have to put in place before opening. And the guidebook is just that, it's a guide. You guys will have to determine based on all the information that KNA is providing and then all of the information that the CDC and the government is providing, what's the best next step for you as the business owner. The guidebook, that's the version 1. There may be a version 2 because, again, despite the countries opening back up, it's still a fluid situation. So it may be a situation where the government says, or the governor says, hey, the numbers are going back up again. We need to take 2 steps back. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, but we are compiling all of the information state by state, and then we'll make a determination as to when we will present all of the information to the instructors on a Zoom platform to say, okay, this is what we have and this is what we recommend, and then you guys have to make that decision. Okay.
Thanks, Stacey. And I wanted to quickly highlight Anna and Brian because I've had a couple of conversations with them already, and they've started thinking how they're going to, the modifications they're going to make once centers are reopened, and they have some pretty good plans just to help, get us in that direction. So Brian and Anna, if you guys want to share the couple things that you guys are planning on doing once we're ready to open back up again.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you hear me. Okay. Hello. So basically, I mean, definitely I'm waiting to see how things go, but my plan is to be scheduling, I guess what where instructors are already doing in the Zoom type of class, where we schedule students and we will have a certain amount of students in the center at a time, asking parents to be waiting for their kids. All those, pretty much a lot of the guidelines that Kumon is giving us, but to just try to reinforce it and have that class. I'll say if the student doesn't come at a certain time when this class was scheduled, then sorry, but we have to get the next one and so on. So we have to be very strict in following the timings, and trying to get them only for a certain time and go. And I was thinking about offering probably once a week, kind of like what Ari's doing in the Zoom, but then it's starting to come. But again, this is something that I'm really starting to plan, because I know in the next couple of weeks we might be able to do it, but I haven't really offered it yet to parents. A lot of the parents, I believe too, it's about them, they will not be wanting to come and they wanted to stay the way it is, and that's fine. But there'll be some that probably say, you know what, I want to try it and I want to come back to Kumon. So yeah, basically it's trying to follow I will say the guidelines of our state and Kumon and so on. But yeah, I'm excited if we can get back students in soon. Yeah, definitely. So
thanks, Anna.
So Anna, you have this you're thinking in the next couple of weeks, like that's what I was thinking, like social distancing, having time slotted kids, only a certain number of kids in time. But how do we know what that number is supposed to be? That hasn't been posted anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
I think according to the CDC guidelines, it's not more than 10 people in a space at once. So 10 people, including staff and you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's like 5.
So basically, really, I was thinking about, this is the way I'm going to start it. I do have families that have 3 and 4 kids.
4 kids, yeah.
That's both math and reading. So I'm going to start with those families in a way that they've been together. So it's not like they're going to get anybody else, around them. And so start little by little, those ones, and then see how it goes, and then start adding a little bit more and so on. But we have to keep it in the 10. And then if you think about it, if our staff, if we have already 4 people and the staff of 5, we can only have 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, so yeah. So, but I even at the beginning, I'm not even going to have 5 kids. At the beginning, I'm going to have 3 or 4, depending on the family members. Yeah. And then as they are done, then I'm going to probably get some others and so. Again, I don't think a lot of the parents are going to want to come, as it is my families. I know probably 70% of them, they're fine doing what they're doing right now, and they're going to keep it this way probably through May. But if it is possible for us in the 2nd or 3rd week of May to start having some kids, I'll offer it to the parents. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Vicky.
Real quick, what is the time slots? Or if we do time slots, typically they're there for 30 to 60 minutes during double subject. Do we block out 30 minutes each subject, or 30 minutes for both subject, or how does that work? Especially if you're a larger center, and let's say if you open 3 days a week, and you're trying to, see all the kids, because I think the parents are ready to come in. They're done doing everything virtual at home or whatever, and they want to come in and actually see a instructor or the staff to work with their child. And especially when they're little, like the EL kids, how do we that social distance with them? Even if you sit diagonally with them, that's still pretty close. They're almost like hands-on. with them. And then, you know, pencils, yes, all the children can bring their own pencils. You know, after every child, we need to wipe down and stuff. How do we fit that in our time slots? If it's going to be a tight time slot, you know, typically I'm open from 3:30 to 7. Do I need to open from 1 to 7? And I think it's a great idea for siblings to sit at one table, and that can save space. Right there's, and then do we run half capacity, or do we do 10 kids when we first open? So, I mean, what are the recommendation or ideas for that?
So I'm going to share really quick the, this is in the Center Reopening Guidebook. So this is
Okay.
what KNA is recommending when it comes to sitting students. So that zigzag pattern for the main classroom, and then for the EL, it's still the same zigzag pattern, but the assistant, who's orange here, is sitting in the middle, away from both of the students.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's what we're recommending in terms of the sitting, to keep it more social distance. And this reopening guidebook is not on Kumon. It's also on that PowerPoint that we'll send to you, so you'll have it. And then in regards to the other questions that you had, Brian has a pretty large center. He's also open 3 days a week, and he's been thinking about how to schedule students. So I want Brian can hear me. Brian, if you want to talk about what you're doing, because you had a couple good ideas on how to schedule your students, being a 300 plus center. I don't know if he's still on. I see his picture, but I don't see him anymore.
I'm listening.
Oh, there you are.
I'm not exactly sure what to say there. I was going to move the tables, some of them out, so that it's at least 6 feet between each table, and have, you know, one person in the main classroom sitting at each table, and make sure the staff are 6 feet apart. I wasn't prepared for the 10 people. If they're going to limit it to 10 people, I don't think I can open. So I'm going to wait until I can have more people. Like 25% is what I was thinking of the utilization of the room. So, but we're gonna offer, you know, masks, and we have gloves, and we have, you know, sanitation taking place every hour. A lot of the, you know, just like the other instructors have said, a lot of the parents aren't going to come in, not until they feel comfortable. So I don't feel like we're going to have a huge influx of students. So I think 25% would be okay, but I can't personally limit it to 10 people because I have, you know, that many staff. So those are some of the thoughts.
And how about, real quick, is bathroom situation? Yes, the parents' room will be closed off, nobody in and out, only students, but, and this is just, I don't even know how to control this, but let's say if a student goes to the bathroom and one goes after them, you don't know if that child coughed in the bathroom or sneezed. I mean, it seems little, but things like that, it's like, how do we control that, right? The kids have to use the bathroom when they're itty bitty. You know, staff does too. Does someone need to stand there and just keep Lysoling after each person? You know, that's a lot. And I agree with Brian, like 10 kids at a time, that's hard, especially if you have, like, my center is big. It's a big place. So I can put more than 10 easily spaced out, even 25 kids I can do. And staff, because if we do 10 and 10, well, 10, my staff is max at 10 already. So, but the bathroom was a concern for me, and you can't close the facility off. I don't think that's a good idea with the kids being there, but I mean, we can't control that. That, you know, that is an idea of things like that. Of course, my husband works at Vanderbilt and he is on COVID-19 and stuff like that, but he was just saying, you know, that's a possibility of, you know, droplets in the bathroom, one kid after another. So just any thoughts on that too?
And Diti, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another component that we have to think about. I know everyone is thinking about the classroom itself, but there's other elements in the center that we have to consider. What's the best practice, and are we ready to handle that? So I just want you guys to continue to think about all of these things. And, you know, before we kind of present the information to you, these are all the things that you have to consider. am I ready to open?
Yeah, yeah.
Another thing you could think about while I'm going through this thing is maybe keeping some hand sanitizer outside the bathroom, so the child uses hand sanitizer when they go in the bathroom, and then when they come out, they use hand sanitizer again to kind of minimize the spread of germs. That's
And the
one
not
thing.
Well,
flush. I don't even know.
Yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
kids,
just
some
can
kids
go
don't
on.
flush, some
Yeah.
kids, so maybe like, as they, so like when we go into the grocery stores here, they give us hand sanitizer as we could go in, and then as we leave, we also get hand sanitizer, so
Yeah.
maybe utilizing that same thought with the bathrooms. So having hand sanitizer outside the bathroom, directing the children that, okay, before you go to the bathroom, put on the, use
Yeah.
hand sanitizer. When you come out, put on hand sanitizer again, and maybe having someone there in the beginning to just remind the
Yeah.
students. That could be
I
that could be an idea.
Maybe also, you know, when we're about to open, send emails out for things like that. Like parents, make sure your children use the restroom
Before they come to the center.
Yeah, and you know, again, the parents' waiting room is closed off, so you know, no family can come in, no siblings and stuff, because they always are using the bathroom. It's like a rest stop. It's like a pit stop.
That's a very good idea. I would leave the bathroom only for staff, maybe,
Yes.
or just limit who
Limited,
uses the
yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
That's a very, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a
Yeah,
very
it's a little things, I guess. We don't think, you know, things like that, or someone accidentally picking up a pencil and you grab it, you know, things like that. The little things like that are big things now.
I have a question for Stacy. Stacy, how obligated are we as you know, small business owners to go with the recommendation of the government? So I know there are just a few centers here, but in Atlanta, if it's okay to open a small business and want to, what is your suggestion for that? Are we required to open just because there's an order in place?
No, not right now, because again, we're going to open at different times across the country. So it's not as though KNA is saying, okay, you need to open because the state is open. So we have to take that, you know, into consideration. And you guys have to use your best judgment on the readiness of your center. And you have to also clarify, what does that order mean for me? Do you have to, you know, you guys should be reading the orders, going through it, you know, consulting with, whether it be your attorney or consulting with the state, because the phone number is there for you to contact to provide clarification as to where do I fall? Where do I fall on the list of businesses? And if my list of businesses is not clarified, they can also tell you where to go to get that clarification.
So at the end of the day, it's our decision as individual business owners, whether we want to open or not. Okay, thank you.
Lacey, can I ask a question, if I may? This is paranoid. I saw the notice that we're going to get more masks and gloves and things. What about if we have a large center? Can we order more? Will they have a place where we can order them?
Karen, I can send you a link.
Oh, okay. Brian's got a contact. Brian's got a person. But Murray, we also have a link on the third party, Murray. I forget the full name. Murray
Promotions.
There we go. Murray, like total brain fart. Murray Promotions. You'll be able to order more through the case store.
It'll be through the case store. Okay, great. Thanks, Brian.
Oh, you're welcome.
I would like that link too, Brian, if you don't mind.
Sorry. I think it's one of Brian's parents.
Yeah, they work at UAB in research, and she gave me 20 masks for the staff, and then she gave me the link. They're not available right now, but I went ahead and put the order in. It should be available in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'll send it to Tina, and she can send it around to whoever she wants to.
Appreciate it.
Good. Thank you, Brian. Oh, wait. Thank you guys. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on to the next topic, but lots of good sharing. Thank you so much. The last topic is about the home study situation. So I'm just gonna kind of skip around. I guess with the first, is everyone, are all your parents participating in home grading? Is anyone not doing home grading in this group?
I don't do home grading at all.
Okay, I was thinking Mitzi, you didn't. Do you want to talk about how you're managing the grading aspect or what you've got in place?
So half of my staff told me that their parents are not comfortable with them working, regardless of how we do it. So I only have like 5 or 6 staff. So they come in twice a week. They have the bucket, and they just pick up all the work, and then I cut down to 2 days a week opening, and those are the days we do exchanges and pick up. So they pick up on Tuesday, they bring it back on Saturday, and then they pick up again. So that has been like established as a routine. So they do a pretty good job, and whatever's left over, I have 2 adult assistants. They come in on Mondays and Fridays for about 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon. So they take care of whatever's left over for grading. So I think we keep current at grading. So that helps me with the lesson planning. And that goes on like on a weekly basis.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mitzi. Anyone else doing anything differently, or those of you that are doing home grading? What tools are you utilizing for parents to record the grades or share the grades with you? I know Lakshmi uses the homework organizer from SEMA Standard. Is anyone doing anything differently? No, no one? Grace, we haven't heard from you. If you want to share. I don't know if Grace is there. Maybe she's not there. Or Shireen. I know Shireen, you're doing a couple of different things. Okay, I don't know if anyone can hear me. Okay, no worries. So moving on to the next couple questions. We talked about achievement tests. I'm going to skip over that. Is anyone having challenges and parents not picking up work or not completing work? And how are you dealing with that?
You hear me?
Yeah, thanks.
I can say something. I guess nobody wants to talk today. No, anyway.
Not. Jeez.
For me, I just a little bit of, I think a lot of us are doing quite similar things. I do leave the work outside. Parents pick it up and then bring me the work done. We look over, we then grade it again and I'll go over it. A lot of my parents do home grading, but I look over anyway. And then we'll get into the CMS and so on. But basically, a lot of the parents, as I said, I think it's about communicating. If you leave the work and they have not picked up, I usually, because I've been going to the center, a little bit what Mitzi said, I've been going to my center twice a week. So if I see parents have not picked up, I call them and I leave them a message and I try to check and see, what happened? Is it that if they forgot about it, so I used to remind them. Others might be that they just don't want to do it anymore, and that's what we get. Sometimes they say, well, you know what, Anna, we decided not to continue, and that's why we have not gone and pick up work. Okay, fine. So I think it's about just checking. I do check on the center Mondays and Thursdays, so if they don't pick up, I call, and then sometimes it's just that they have not finished sometimes the work that we gave them before, and that's the reason. So I guess it's just communicating and calling them just to make sure that they're still in the loop there. So that will be my input there.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Anyone else do anything differently?
In the center that I am observing, I guess the observation is taking the place of the corrections, because if the instructor see that the student is making a lot of mistakes, she just assigns a repetition on that topic. Not really, they don't self-correct or anything. They just get the set repeated. But they are advancing very well, so I guess the observation is working too, because she can assess the mistakes right away.
Okay. And for this repetition set, is it something that they're just coming to pick up from the center, or are they mailing them the extra sets? Like, how are they getting those extra sets?
She actually distributes the worksheets to each house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. That's very cool.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Okay. And then I wanted to hear, so outside of all the stuff that we're doing, so with the virtual sessions, the calling, the talking to parents, how are you guys, I guess, keeping that connection to the center with your family? So I've heard from other instructors in other states, like they're holding bingo nights, they're doing game nights, they're doing like fun little things through Zoom just to keep their families engaged with their center and with Kumon outside of doing worksheets. Have you guys been doing anything similar to that? Like just some fun activities with your families?
I don't have activities, but I do send out emails telling them like free stuff available online, or the things they can do at home that I would do with my, kids when they're young.
Okay.
The things, and then that they can connect to science, they can connect to history. So I make a lot of suggestions.
Oh, cool.
And they seem to appreciate that, and some of them are actually doing things. And at the center, I have a bunch of books, and I happen to have all the National Geographics for so many years. And I just brought everything in, and they're all gone.
Okay, everyone picked them up.
So anything I found around the house that they can use, I just bring it in, because I'm there 5 days a week. And, they seem to enjoy it, and they appreciate that. And we can, good thing came out of this is I think I have much stronger bonds with parents now, and some of the kids too. They make sure they kind of wave from the car if they see me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been nice that in that regard.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, awesome. Anyone else doing anything outside of worksheets? I know that takes up like pretty much all your time if you're doing virtual class every day. Has anyone shared any student successes during this time, like a state of the center email of how everyone's doing?
So, Tina, this is Arti.
Oh,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not unsafe for all the families to return completed homework? So in both centers, nobody's asked to leave the work back or the finished work. I've given them all an Excel spreadsheet, and I've shown them how to record the scores. And they send it to me every 2 weeks. So I do not allow them to bring back any of the completed worksheets.
Yeah. Oh, I have a solution for that. So I set up pickup station and drop-off station. So the drop-off, I put rubber bands, clips, and markers and Post-it notes. So parents come in, they drop it off, and we don't touch. And I'll bring the basket into the classroom, and I spread it out over all the desks. So my assistants are not allowed to touch those until the next center day. So we have about 2 to 3 days in between. So so far, that's the best that I can do. And they seem to be okay with it. And the parents, all the homework, we put it in a plastic bag and seal it. with the kid's name on.
Okay, and I've heard a couple instructors do the same as well. Okay, but I think that's great that Arthi, your parents are filling out the Excel sheet. Are they pretty consistent about completing it and send it to you every 2 weeks?
Very consistent. We have like an average of 200 to 300 that we need to print out every other week. And then we print them out, cut them, and then paste them to the record books. So that's a lot of extra work, but then I have staff that is assigned to do that. My only concern is like, and the analogy I use for this is that of a seatbelt that you wear in the car. We wear it all the time, but it's that one accident that we are trying to prevent by wearing the seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why receiving papers from outside and then giving it back to them, it's that one situation where, you know, someone could have sneezed on a sheet and they have COVID and they leave it that same day. So it's not being paranoid, I personally think, but till everything is safe, receiving papers from somebody else is kind of dicey. Also maybe because both my husband and I are in that, you know, that age group where we have to be a little extra careful. We are almost senior citizens. So maybe that's why I'm a little paranoid, but.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And that's fine. Like whatever, I mean, this is such a tough situation. So whatever everyone is comfortable with, like that's definitely what we want you guys to follow, and not do anything that you're not comfortable with. So we are just about done, just a couple minutes till we all head back into the larger room. I think at the beginning, Karen had volunteered to be our speaker, but I think she's having internet issues. Arthi, would you mind being our speaker for our room?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Would you mind being our speaker for the room?
To sum up everything?
Yes.
Sure, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Artie.
Does anyone have any other things they would like to share or any other questions or concerns that they've been thinking about before we head back into the large room? Okay. Well, thank you guys. This is really informational. We kind of grouped everyone with similar center sizes. So all of you are, 200 plus subjects. So I hope what was shared in the group was helpful and got your juices thinking for next steps. And so just to reiterate what Stacey said, we will get together as a large group in the next couple days and advise on, how to open and what steps to follow to open. But please, we are not requiring you to open. It's an option. If you are not comfortable opening, you do not need to open. You can continue doing what you're doing till you feel comfortable to open. So I just wanted to reiterate that as we move back into the larger room. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everyone back in the main room, and then we'll just, we'll do our large group share and we'll wrap up. So thank you guys so much for sharing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. All right, so if you guys wanna actually, can I put you guys back in the rooms? So there is the toolbar down below, it says leave breakout room. So go ahead and just click on that and you'll go back to and make sure you click on go back to main room. Thanks for sharing.